have the amazing Sitha Sen. Some of you may not know, Sina Sen has a brother. And I get to sit down and talk to him today. So, Chumripsu, welcome. Thank you for agreeing to sit down with me.
No problem.
I know traffic was a nightmare.
Just a little bit.
How long did it take you to get here?
Like 2 hours.
Wow, I am so sorry.
Nah, it's something you get used to if you work in Hollywood or in that area. I've been doing it for like 15 years, so it's like you kind of learn how to like zone out.
Wow, yeah. My daughter Summer hates driving home on the weekdays because she hates the 2 hours traffic. She lives in downtown LA, so yeah, it's hard to ask her to come home during the weekdays.
She'd be like, I'll come home at 9 o'clock.
Yes, that's what usually happens, yeah. Right. Okay, so we did not know Sina has a brother, and here you are, and the amazing thing is you work in the same company.
We do. It was funny because it's like you wonder, it's like, can you work with your siblings?
Yeah, so how does that go?
But she works in her own department, and I work in mine, so it's like I see her, but it's not like I have to, I mean, I work with her, but not like I sit next to her or anything. So it's like, but she specializes in her field and I specialize in my field. So I like to keep it professional, so.
What is your field?
I'm a VFX editor. I'm also in charge of editorial in my company. So I oversee all footage that comes in from shows. And I make sure it's correct and it matches their offline edit, so we can work on the effects. And that's about it. So it doesn't sound like a lot, but you know, it never feels like work to me. It feels like, oh, here's a bunch of footage. Does it look like this footage? I'm like, yes.
Wow. So, but you get paid for it.
You get paid for it, and then you get to watch stuff that's not aired yet. So that's the other bonus of it.
That's incredible. So you get to watch 2 or 3 shows ahead of everybody else. Wow, that's amazing. Now, what are some of the shows you've been working on?
Person of Interest, The Gifted, Gotham, of course, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that's another one.
And you guys are working on Westworld?
Yes, we just finished Westworld, and that was quite a ride. So.
Okay, I'm not going to get you into trouble by asking you what should we look for in Westworld, you know. So I'm going to stay away from that. But tell us, how did you become interested in art? Was it something to look up to your sister, or was it something also your interest?
I guess I've always been a visual person, to say. So I started drawing when I was probably 2nd grade, I would say. But I didn't pursue it as much because Nintendo came along and stole my attention, and I just fell off of drawing. Had I continued, I probably would have rivaled Sina, maybe. We'll never know. So
you never know. Okay, so would you say playing Nintendo is what helped you to get this career you're in now?
No. It was more in high school. I had 2 choices. I join the Marines or find something to do. So I took a film course in high school, and it was actually fun. Our final project was to make a 5-minute short, and it was, like I said, it was really fun going through the aspect of making a story and acting in it and doing the editing and some light sound work, and it's all primitive stuff, but it was really fun. So that sparked the interest into going into that field, because you growing up, you always are pushed to either go into the medical field or go into law. Or, that's pretty much what a lot of parents know, because they don't know a lot other than that. So I went to City College for about a year, but I felt that it was going too slow, so I wanted something a lot faster. So that's when I decided to go to the Art Institute. Same one Sina went to.
So can we say you really follow your sister's footsteps?
I followed her
Okay.
to a different school, yes.
Okay.
But she was focused on drawing, and I was more of the on the film video aspect of it. So she started in a different field, and I started primarily in film and video.
Oh,
And
okay.
when I got to college, I was like focused. I didn't really party. I was just like, oh, production. Who needs help? You know, I would just hop around and help people with their short stories and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So it was word got around on campus like if you want help, just go ask Sitha. He'll help you with whether it's a night shoot or he'll help you. So
That's amazing.
and then I started I started interning at a post house, which ironically I didn't finish my BA program because I was actually working on set. Because I would not go to class, I would go to set to learn from actual people doing it.
I'm sorry. We're gonna get to, I just had the urge to cough. Okay, continue on.
So, because I went to set a lot, I didn't go to class. And because I didn't go to class, my GPA started declining.
Oh.
And then, I got a letter and I had to go to the financial aid office, and they had actually expelled me.
Wow, from City College?
No, from the Art Institute.
Oh, okay.
Because there was a certain level of GPA that you had to maintain, and I didn't think about it. I was like, oops.
Yeah, but you were learning outside the
I was learning
classroom.
outside, which is funny because I'm not ditching to go to do partying, I'm actually ditching to go learn somewhere else.
Wow.
So I mean, I had no hard feeling. Was I upset about it? A little bit, but I didn't really care because I was actually working. So I finished my AA, but that was about it. So I continue on my path doing commercial editing. So I was doing like YoPlay, Maytag, Time Warner type of commercials, and it was nice and comfortable. You're sitting in a room and you're just cutting all day, doing stuff
away from other people,
away from other
the
people.
dramas.
Right, and then ironically though, I took 2 years off after that one production house because there's certain things they don't teach you in school. And they don't teach you how to deal with ego people or just people with short tempers. So I was like, I don't know. Do I want to continue doing this? let me take a break just so I could soak it all in. And I did random things for a while, and then nah, it's really boring. 8 hours of just doing random normal, not normal jobs, but I guess it's not it's repetitive jobs. So I found it really boring. So I decided to go back into my field, but this time I was ready. I was mentally prepared.
Yes.
If I had to start from the bottom, I was ready to do that. But luckily I didn't. I found an assistant editing position, and I was working on a TV show, and it just got me back into it. But this time I was more mature and prepared to dish on the characters that are around you in Hollywood, because there are a lot of types of characters.
Yes.
So I never really let it stress me, because what can you really do if the deadline is XYZ and you might not make it? You might not make it. So
Now you and your sister seem to be able to get your foot in the Hollywood industry, right? Now, would you say it's because of your knowledge, or did you have some kind of connections?
It's both. It's a little bit of both, and a little bit of luck too. Because when you're in LA, you don't know who you're standing next to, or you don't know who you'll run into. You just don't know. Being knowledgeable does help, but it's also that networking too. So if you just sit there and you're talking to somebody, and they happen to be a producer of some show or something,
Wow.
and you sit there and do nothing, then you won't go anywhere. Because ironically, as I was looking for work when I took some time off, I was working a night job and I was looking for stuff during the day, and I had a friend called me up to help his mother-in-law. So I went to go help his mother-in-law, and she asked me, what was I doing? I said, oh, I just got off of work. She's like, oh my God, you working graveyard? I said, yeah. So I could, I'm looking for stuff during the day. He goes, oh, what are you looking for? I said, I don't know, like some assistant editing position. And she was a producer.
Wow.
For, a company. And she said, oh, really? So she had called her daughter that was working on a current show at the time, and they were looking for an assistant editor. So then they linked me up to her, and then that's how I got back in, because, I was just being honest, and I saw my opportunity, and you got to take it, because if you get a job interview at Google,
yes,
you're gonna do what it takes to go to Google and do that interview. Whether you make it or not, that's up to you. So that opportunity is there. If you don't seize it, it's just gonna go by. So
wow,
it's one of those, like, you have to be sharp.
Okay, we will hear more about it when we get back. Welcome back. Now that was interesting. You had an opportunity to take this job to help a friend's mom. You didn't even know that she was a producer, and you just happened to tell her what you were looking for. Now some would say that was luck, but I would look at it as the universe weave itself into making this happen for you. How would you look at it?
There are definitely things that it's hard to believe, but I can't deny sometimes, because it's like randomly you're just at the right place at the right time, and that's another thing too. Being at the right place at the right time. Timing is sometimes really crucial. So I just happened to be at the right place at the right time.
Yes.
So.
And also it's because you were open up about what you were looking for.
Right. I'm just. People ask me a question, and I'll answer it to my fullest, because that's who I am.
That's good. So being able to network and talk to other people helps also, right?
Right. That's one part of it, yes. So.
And like you said, you're in LA. You never know who you run into or standing next to, right?
Right. Like take Uber drivers. There've been a few times where I was sitting in an Uber driver. And I always like to talk to Uber drivers, So it's like, so are you doing this on the side? Or are you doing this, just to make extra money and stuff? So, and they tell me what they want to do. I'm like, oh, you'd like to do graphics? Well, that's great, because my company always likes to look for people. And it's like, well, send me your information. Here's my information. I'll text it to you. So I'll text them my information plus my company's website. Because I like, opportunity was given to me, so I like to kind of do the same thing for whoever I come across, and nothing. So I was like, well, that's on them. There was an opportunity there. If they don't seize it, then that's on them. So it's a big world, but kind of small at the same time in Hollywood. So
yes, yeah. Wonderful. Now, how long did it take you to venture out into other industries before you get to where you are now?
I was on the TV show. I was working on it for about 2 years. When we didn't get renewed for a second season, I was following my producer friend at the time. So it's like, well, because she came from commercial and music videos. So she was like, hitting up all her old contacts, and we were just doing random projects again. And I was just see where it goes, because I didn't have a set goal of where I wanted to work or a specific place. I was just like, well, let's ride it out. So I was just, going along for the ride, and then about another 2.5 years, like, okay, it's probably time now to go find what I want to do. And I just started applying, and then Sina had gotten laid off in Florida, so but she had 2 interviews here. So she got back here, went to those interviews, and then worked at COSA. So about a month later, she said, "Hey, they're looking for graphics people." I was like, "Well, I don't do graphics, but sure, why not? What's the harm in that? What worst they could do is fire me." So, I did a test for them, and they liked it. Went to the interview, and I told them my strong suit is editorial, but I can do graphics if I have to. So, I was working there, and they knew I had editorial experience, but they didn't have an editorial department. But they kept asking me to do editorial stuff. And that slowly trickled into, let's just form an editing department. So that's why they stuck me in there. So
now, are you the only person in that department?
I am currently the only person right now.
How long would you say for you to take to edit one episode?
Well, we don't do the show episodes. We do the visual effects on that part.
Oh,
so
okay.
Piecing together back the visual effects on top of the network cut sometimes doesn't take me that long. It could range from 5 minutes to an hour, depending how complex it is. So it's not as difficult as it sounds. You just have to be sharp on catching a lot of things. So if there's a green screen effect and then you see something in the background, you need to call it out quickly. Otherwise, it passes through many eyes, and then it goes back to the network. Network sees it and say, "Hey, there's something in the background that's not supposed to be there." And we're like, "Oh, oops," So that does reflect upon me too, because I'm the first eyes on it, and I'm also kind of like the last eyes. So if something like that, if a technical mistake misses us and goes straight into network, it can be.
Wouldn't be pretty.
Wouldn't be pretty, yes. So.
Okay, for some of us, like me included, have no clue what it is that you work on. Can you walk us the step like for example, we're gonna play something that you worked on. Explain that.
Okay. So like this Gotham scene right here. This was a combination of 2D and 3D. I had to make sure the plates that come in, all the green stuff, matches the reference, and make sure Sina has this footage, and make sure tracking has it so they can track the entire scene. And then Sina does her visualization on it, and then we assess it. Oh, we're going to need 3D buildings, so then it goes to 3D. So they build the 3D buildings, and then Sina does the matte painting. And then it gets composited into the final shot. So from there, I check it one last time. I make an avid bin, and then we send that shot off to the client. So.
Wow. Sounds like there's a lot of steps and there's a lot of people involved in just making one episode or making one scene work.
Right. Like sometimes the things that you can't notice, that you don't know if it had visual effects on it or not. So, and if you can't notice it, then we did our job, correctly, because you're not supposed to notice visual effects. It's supposed to be just seamless transition. And the moment you catch something, it's like, kind of takes you out of it, but it's like, I'll let it go because it's TV.
It's pretty amazing to see what you guys do, because, before I came to the studio to look at your sisters and your work, it's like I never knew how much work put into it, so I really don't appreciate, the film industry as much. But now that I get to see
Right.
it and get to understand it, there's a lot of work involved.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's not just about shooting, it's not just about actors and actresses, or it's not just about directing, it's the lights,
The whole team. It takes a whole team. It's like when you watch
Wow.
a Super Bowl commercial, that 30 seconds took an army of people to do, that 30 seconds, and it's like sometimes $3 to $5 million for that 30-second spot.
Now I understand why it
So-
would cost so much to make the
Right.
30-second.
Yeah.
So it gives me a better understanding and love for film now because, you guys are doing amazing work. And earlier we were talking about, some parents are not used to this kind of work. They're used to doctors or engineer or lawyers.
Right.
And especially, in our community,
Right.
parents are always trying to push
Push
their children.
for stuff like that. Because I do get asked that a lot. Like, well, how come you didn't want to be a nurse or something in the law? I was like, it's not for me. I don't find it stimulates my mind. So, and I try to encourage other people too, especially in our community. If I come across somebody who wants to do something in entertainment field, but they're not sure, I was like, well, what's the harm? If you don't like it, you don't like it. You can always change major. There's no harm in pursuing something that you have an interest in. I'd rather have you know than to sit there and wonder.
Yes.
Even if you don't make it, but at least you've tried and you know. Versus sitting there 10, 15 years from like, I wonder, had I continued drawing, could I have been better than Sina?
Yes.
You'll never know.
See, now you never know.
So now you never know.
Yeah. But, in a way, it is kind of like, a nurse or a doctor, but it's just, you're not performing surgery or you're not treating a human.
Right.
You're treating a film.
Right.
An episode, a show.
Right. You're entertaining people. So
Yeah.
that's sometimes, the world's a cruel place. We escape through other forms of media. So like we watch TV shows sometimes to get out of our reality and to go into a different world and to see. And it's amazing what we can do. We could make different worlds, alien planets or, it's just very fantasizing sci-fi type of stuff. So to be able to see all that stuff, it's in our time, that's awesome. So
Yeah, and it's amazing that you follow your passion.
right, again, it was fun. I didn't think about stability or paychecks or anything. I just like, oh, this is kind of fun. I think I'll do this. So my mom was glad because she was like, I said, Mom, I'm gonna join the Marines. She was like petrified. She was like, she couldn't really sleep because she knew I wanted to go see, crazy, action. So, but I was like, oh, when she found out I changed my mind, and she was relieved. So,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure every mother would be too.
right.
Yeah, it's better for you to sit in an office safe than out in the war field somewhere. Okay, when we come back, we will get to hear more about Sitha and his work. Now, are you and Sina the only two siblings, or do you have more?
Oh, I have 2 other sisters. So if you count Sina, that's 3. So
You're the only boy?
I am the only boy in my family, and it was interesting growing up with 3 sisters. So
I bet. But it seems like talent grows in your family.
no, I wouldn't tell them that.
Okay. You know, unfortunately, we come to a wrap. What advice would you have for younger people if they want to get into this field? How difficult it is, or what does it take? And for parents who want their children to pursue in the normal career, for example, doctor, lawyers, engineer.
That's a tough one, but sometimes you might have to defy your parents because they only want the best for you, and I get that, but you know that's also restricting you from what you would like to do. So if you wanted to do some art or some music, there's no harm in it. If push comes to shove, it doesn't work out, you can always go back to pursue the medical field or the law fields. Those are always going to be there. So your parents are partially right, but as an individual, I think you need to decide for yourself because it's going to be your life. So if you wanted to join the Marines or something, by far go ahead and join the Marines, but make sure that's something you want to do. If you want to practice law, if that's something you want to do, then go for it. If someone says, "Oh, you won't be able to do that because you're not smart enough," that's like, how do you know? You don't know. You don't know until you go through it.
Yes.
Same thing with my industry. It's tough, but any field can be tough. With our day and age, we have technologies everywhere. Your phone, you can tell a story with your phone.
Yes.
If you have an idea, write it down and just take your phone out and just practice. Because you can have the best equipment, but if there's no story, there's no substance, then it just looks pretty. But if you have some kind of like engaging story, you won't look at like, oh, it wasn't shot on a Sony camera, it was shot on an iPhone. It's like, so what? There was a story behind it. There's a story everywhere. So as you're driving, on the freeway, there's always some crazy thing that goes on in life, and if you can catch that, or you have an idea that sparks that, you write it, you shoot it. So don't let, I wouldn't limit yourself, because I always tell people, don't limit yourself because just because you don't think you're good enough, you don't know that.
Yes.
Because you won't know until you try. So, there's YouTube. You can learn a lot on YouTube. Being at work, I still be like, how do I do this? I'll type it up on YouTube. I'm not afraid to admit that, because there's so much knowledge out there and there's so much technology that's like, sometimes you can't keep up all the time.
Yes.
So you're so stuck doing something or working on a show. There's a new camera out. It's like, well, how do I work on that camera? It's like, well, you're gonna have to look it up. Either read the index books, or somebody on YouTube already did it, or Vimeo, or somebody already posted on this special camera.
Yes.
So
easier than reading.
it's easier than reading, but it's accessible. Everybody has the same accessible knowledge. It's up to you as an individual to go and get it, because life's not going to hand it to you. You have to go and want it. So you're not entitled to anything. So if you sit there and wonder, nothing's going to happen. So you just go out and do stuff. Sometimes you might run across somebody. It's like, oh, what are you guys shooting? Because I do that. I'm like, oh, what are you guys shooting? So you never know. You might sit next to somebody on a bus who just happens to be a coordinator or a producer or somebody, and it could be something small, but it can always grow into something big.
Yes,
so
that's true.
I have seen people who started as PAs and now they're like producers. And
Wow.
And that's great. You start from the bottom chain and you go up to something higher. And in my field, it could take you a day or it could take you 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you have the passion to keep pursuing it, I would like to think eventually you'd make it. So it's definitely a marathon, not a sprint. So you know, just go out there and give it everything you got.
Great advice. Thank you so much. And now, are you going to stay locally or wait until traffic?
I'm going to wait till traffic dies.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming into my show. I look forward
problem.
to seeing more of your work and your sisters as well. Keep us posted on new projects that you do, and I'd love to have you come back and talk more about it.
I'd be happy to.
Thank you for coming on to the show. I look forward to seeing your future projects. ជំរាបលា